Hello, everyone. This is Mark, and you're listening to the Ballpark Hunter podcast. I'm also the regional correspondent for the website Stadium Journey, the industry's leader in sports reviews. Know before you go. Check out stadiumjourney.com before you hop in your car or on an airplane. We have reviews from all over the world. We have a couple new reviews from Portugal due to one of our writers being out there in Europe. So make sure you check it out. We try to cover you at stadiumjourney.com. Well, here's a gentleman who's been in the news lately. He is the media relations director, broadcast operations, photographer, and social media manager for the London Majors of the Intercounty Baseball League. And his name is Matt Hiscox, and he's going to tell us what he did and his team to get him into this viral moment. So, Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome to be on the show. I've been listening to for a little bit here now since I've been getting into baseball more
Nice.
than years ago. So it gets me keeps me updated on stuff.
Yeah, I think you're the second organization from your league to come on here. I've reached out to a few teams, so it's
I wasn't the first one.
wasn't the first. I don't know. I'm surprised you weren't the first because, like I said earlier, I did have an ex-girlfriend from London, Ontario for about 3 years, so spent a lot of time up there. Never checked out a majors game. I don't think I knew you guys existed, but if you don't know you guys exist now, and I think this is your 100th anniversary, correct? For the team?
This is our 100th anniversary. So last season was our 100th season. This is our 100th
Yes,
anniversary.
the 100th anniversary, which I, I go between that. Do you celebrate the 100th season or do you celebrate the 100th anniversary?
I was back and forth myself with a couple people. It's like, which do we want? Why don't we just do it both?
Yeah, because it looks nicer when you make a patch and it says 1925 to 2025 rather than 2024. It's just the launch, but
I agree. It's the same kind of vibe that I've had myself.
yeah, that's me. But anyway, whether this is the 100th season or just the 100th anniversary, there's going to be one night, and I don't know if that's even set in stone, where a lot of people I think will be coming out to your ballpark because if you've been paying attention to social media, your team pulled out an April Fool's prank, renaming yourself the Forest City uh, Cobra Chickens. And I don't know if you fooled anybody, but we love the logo, we love the colors, and we wanted to buy the merch. And I even think I said, hey, I know this is a joke, but you guys will make some money selling this. So uh, tell us briefly how you came up with this April Fool's prank, and did you think it was going to go this far?
I'll start with that. No,
No.
not by any means did I think, a day back in December after talking with our ownership, I was sitting on my couch in my two-bedroom apartment with my fiance at the time and said, "Hey, listen, ownership gave me the opportunity, I need to start thinking of some ideas." And we sat there and, we were coming up with all these names and, the name we kept going back to was Overton.
Hmm.
And this, like I said, this is early to mid-December before Christmas, just something that we could, laugh about. And I took it to our ownership and I said, here's what we're thinking. We had a few options, and first one he saw, Cobra Chicken. We got to do that one. That's the one
Yes.
we got to do. And then it was about 100 hours worth of graphic design work by our graphic designer, Ashton. And I don't know how he puts up with me some days of, hey, I want to change this, just change it just that little bit.
They're used
And
to it.
yeah, and he's a college student here in London, and he did an absolutely incredible job with the logo. And we took it out, actually on the Sunday before April Fool's Day. We said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is everything's done, everything, the platforms, the logo, the wording, everything. But we didn't have jerseys, we didn't have merch, nothing. We just had, let's just do it. And by noon on April Fool's Day, on April 1st, my phone had died because
Heard.
it had blown up so bad. And I said to our ownership, we got to do something here. Like we just like hit a nail. And we thought, okay, let's get the ball rolling on stuff. And it's been, the ball just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we go here.
Yeah, now I had heard you on a local radio station, FM 96, on Friday. Has anything evolved since then with any, I know you said you put in the jersey orders and hat orders, but any other new information
Nothing
regarding
has
this?
come out yet.
Okay.
We're still finalizing a few things. We got to deal with the league still on, managing the game because, we want to make sure our jerseys don't clash with another team. You don't want to
Yeah.
see, two pink jerseys out on the field at once, or two blue jerseys out on the field too much or, at the same time. So we're still working through that logistic, making sure that we have everything in place so that when they do come in, we have the players' jerseys aside and we have stuff for fans and, all of our staff to wear during the game, all that kind of stuff. So that we're still working through. It's not just as easy, and I'm finding out the hard way that it's not just
Yeah.
as easy as just saying, "Hey, here's my jersey. I want 60 of these."
Yeah.
You got to get everything organized very
Well,
quickly.
so I'm thinking to myself, let's say you guys had this idea, like, hey, we're going to have one day where we have an alternative identity, which happens across baseball in North America. This is something that probably is handled months ago, correct? Like you would have started this process maybe even in December to
You
get
know
yours.
what? We started the process of just the design of the logo and stuff like that, but we didn't think it was going to take off. Our brand is, when I talk to our ownership, we look at ourselves as the New York Yankees kind of branding. You don't change the Yankees branding. You don't change tradition. It's like changing, for us, it's like changing, the national anthem or the loonie. You don't change that for Canadians. And, we didn't think it was going to take off, so we didn't think of that. And when it took off the way that it did, we kind of went into, I don't want to say a panic mode, but we went into a full tilt, let's go mode. Like
Yeah.
I had Ashton working on graphics for a jersey at 1 o'clock in the afternoon saying, "Hey, we need to go. Like, I don't care what you're doing. I'll talk to your teachers, whatever I got to do. You need to start on jerseys now." And he's like, "Are you serious? Like, this is going that well?" I said, "Yes, this is going that well. We need to like really get onto this and drive this through completely and see it right through to a possible game and everything."
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking to myself right now, getting jerseys orders, but you're also looking at getting hats for the fans and the
Yep.
players, t-shirts, anything else you're looking at that.
Right now, that's what we're looking at, but
Yeah.
we've been taking like I get updates from our fans, hey, we want hoodies, hey, we want jerseys, hey, we want, I had somebody ask for DJ track pants that had the logo all the way
Oh
down.
my
And
goodness.
I'm like, you're about the only person I think that would wear those right about now. Like, I don't even think I'd wear those, but we've gotten so many, ideas and suggestions. And, because we're trying to get it done, at least the jerseys and the hat, we
Yeah.
want to get those in and we want to get those selling so that we can see, we want to see everybody wearing this stuff and build it from there. Maybe it's 1 year, maybe it's a 2 year thing that we do this next year and it grows even more. Someone suggested we do a Hawaiian shirt, wearing it all over the Cobra Chicken's logo all over the shirt. And I'm like, that might be the wildest idea I've ever heard of.
I'll tell you at this point, I mean, my goodness, everybody's giving you free ideas, just giving you some nice brainstorming that maybe you do that next year, or maybe you do that, maybe this becomes an annual event. It's, Cobra Chicken Night. So it's
Yeah, and that's the thing is we have this idea now in our hands that, it's just a matter of how big we want to take it and, how big we want to build from here. And, right now it's a lot of work in the back end that, excuse me, unfortunately some fans don't see. I didn't see originally, when I started this, it was kind of a, hey, let's do this idea. And then I get, okay, we need player size for jerseys. Thankfully, we've already ordered our jerseys for the season. Let's just copy that. Oh, but we added new people to the team. We want to make sure Ashton has one because he designed everything.
yeah.
All this kind of stuff. It takes a lot. And I've been on more Zoom calls and more interviews in the past week that I have in the 7 years I've been with the organization before.
It takes one
And
idea. Takes one idea.
You know what? Well, even my fiance, she's like, "You got another interview tonight?" I said, "Yeah, we got another interview tonight, and we're a week out from this has been
Yeah.
out published." And she's like, "Well, I mean, hey, it did well, and I got to give it to her too. Like the name came, I just did the legwork of organizing everything from there. She helped me with the name idea. Our graphics team did great with the design and the colors, all that kind of stuff. I managed the people and worked as a liaison between our team and help bring it to life, between everybody.
Yeah, I tell you, it's like I think everybody dreams of having something like this. You want to create something that gets attention. And how far has this attention? Is it all across Canada and the United States?
It's it's all the way down to the States. I've had emails from, lower Texas, saying, "Hey, when are you doing this? We want to get the merch." And I'm like, "Where are you from?" And they're like, "Oh, we're from like Laredo, Texas." And I'm like,
Oh God, you can't get any further than that.
you're like I've been to Laredo
Yeah,
once when I
you're at
was
the border of
12.
Mexico.
Yeah, you're right there. And they're like, "Yeah, we want to get the jersey. Like that is the coolest jersey. We get those, in the summertime or in the winter time where they'll fly down here. We want those." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, like we really got to start pushing for this stuff to get ready." And it's just a matter of getting it all in stock. We want to see we've got an order placed, and it's a matter of how quick does that sell? We got to get another one, and you know jerseys take time to build, and that's the thing. Like we're trying to get stuff ordered and announced. Because not only do we have to have them ready, we got to get all the social feed, the website made, all that kind of stuff, so that we have it ready to sell. So that when they come in hand, it's a matter of a click of a button, and everything goes out all at once, and not just oh, here's socials, here's the website, all
Hmm.
that. We want it to all go out at once.
Yeah, because I think once you get that merchandise in, it's going to sell out just like that, and then you're going to do a second order, maybe even a third order. I think you hit a gold mine on this one,
I'm
man.
just glad the guy that doesn't have to do the store at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, normally, if somebody wants London Majors merchandise and they don't order it online, are they able to go someplace like a team store, or can they go to the ballpark?
Yeah, so we've got the ballpark that we have. So with our league right now, we are a really strong volunteer base and a game day operations base. So we don't have the park open 24/7. Our store is open 2 hours before the game, right before first pitch on every home game, and then it's closed. Ninth inning it closes, and then we have online. So we are really a strong foot traffic store, and we get a lot of foot traffic. Our hat, you could walk around the city of London, and if you don't see a London Majors hat, especially in the summertime, within 10 minutes, something's wrong. And
Okay,
you're not, you're in the wrong end of the city. You're,
you're not
you're
looking.
like, yeah, you're not looking because our hats are so, like I said, they're the Yankees hats. You could be in Toronto and you're guaranteed to see a Yankees hat. These are the Yankees of the IBL. And
Mhm.
I don't say that because we're the best on the field, but we pride ourselves of being the best on the broadcast, I should say, best on social media, and our hats are iconic to them.
Yeah. Now, and it also has a very Detroit Tigers look too. So that's another
It does,
iconic. Yeah,
it does,
Golden
especially
Age,
being we're 2 hours to
2 hours
Detroit.
away.
Yeah, I can hear the Detroit games on the radio sometimes if I'm in the right spot in the city. So, we're 2 hours to Detroit. The Detroit Tigers used to have an affiliate team here
Yeah,
back
Tigers.
a long time ago. My teacher in high school actually played for them.
Hmm.
So the ties to the Detroit team are still here, but the majors, they've been here since 1925, and they're not going anywhere, even with the Cobra chicken.
No, no, and exactly. And then, we talked about all the positives with the Cobra chickens. Any negative feedback from some of your traditional supporters or not?
I don't want to say there was really. There was a few that were like, "Are you kidding me? Like this is the Majors brand." And like I mentioned earlier, it's your Yankees. It'd be the same thing if the Yankees changed to something
Oh
crazy.
my goodness, yeah.
You'd get the odd one, but you'd still get a few that are like, "Okay, this is really cool." But our fans are so loyal to our team that we could put out that we're playing as the the Thames City Frog Hoppers, and I think our fans would be loyal to us. We're seeing that young fan base come in, and they're loving the Majors brand, the Majors team. We've got such a fan heavy organization that you could be at the game and lean over the railing, and our guys are signing autographs. One player that's been with us for 10 years at least is Cleveland Brownlee. He came from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is the most kindest person you could ever meet on a baseball field. And whether he strikes out on, the worst pitch you could ever imagine, or he hits a home run, he's still going to turn around and sign that autograph for that little fan leaning over calling his name.
Yeah.
So our fans, I think, like I said, we could put out anything, and anything fun like that, I think our fans would love.
Yeah. Now, have you guys had anything not similar, but any other promotions where you wore a kind of a different jersey than your normal brand before?
No, this is the
No,
first
not at
time
all.
we've ever done anything like this where, we have a really good sponsors across the city of London. We have our traditional Pack the Park, which is Father's Day, where one of our sponsors this year, again, it's Foxwood Homes, and they buy the park out. So 5,500 tickets, and they become free for families, dads, anybody that wants to come watch a Majors game. And the seats are filled. I recently became a dad myself. This my son will be 2 at the end of this year, and I took the game off the first time in the 8 years I've been with the organization. You sit back and it's like, wow, there's 55
Yeah, it's
plus
great.
100 people in the stands, and it's great to see. It's something that we love, and now that we've got this Cobra Chickens, we're hoping it does the same thing. Let's get everybody out for Cobra Chickens night.
Yeah, because I'm just imagine like how many. What's the highest? You say about 5,500, 6,000 at the ballpark?
Our stadium maxes out at 5,500.
Okay, because if this works out and the weather's perfect, I mean, you could get
I
5,500
might have
tickets.
to rent some extra stands or
Yeah,
something like that and
I
put
mean,
them out in the outfield.
yeah, because then you're thinking about maybe promotions during the game. What kind of in between promotions can you do with the Cobra Chickens? Would you play different music? Would you go for a 1980s vibe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Miami Vice vibe. I've been told that, the logo gives the colors especially give a Miami Vice vibe to them. How do we incorporate that into it? We have such a creative team base where, and our ownership just lets us do stuff like this
Well,
where they
I
say, hey, have fun.
yeah, I would tell people, have all your workers wear, suit jackets or blazers with t-shirts, pastel colors,
And
and
I would say the neon colors,
yeah,
your fanny pack to, maybe get the roller skates out too.
yeah, it's I mean, there's so many things you can do. It's just nice when you hit on something like this because I remember when I first saw it, and I know Ed Rivera, who's the Dad Hack Chronicles, I saw it on his page, and he said, "Here, take my money. I want one." And I'm
Yep.
like, Forest City Cobra Chicken. It's like a Forest City. I go, that's London's nickname. I knew that. So I went on your page and I'm like, oh, I go, no. Oh, it's April Fool's. And
You know
but
what? I
but
actually got a few people that called me and said, are you guys really? Like we
yeah.
had CBC, who is the largest national broadcast in the country, who goes
Mhm.
east to west coast, and we have an office here in London. And I got an email back from their one of their reporters. Did you forget to email us on something?
You
And
fool
then
CBC.
like 2 minutes later, I get a message. Really? It's April Fool's Day, and I fell for it. I didn't even have to respond. I called him up. I said, and I thought you reporters were good here. You at least
Yeah.
looked at the calendar.
I know. And you released it on April 1st. Some people do it March 29th, and it throws them off, but it's yeah, at first part of me was like, oh no, this is April 1st because it was you and then Wellen, it was going to become the Niagara Longcock. So both of you guys were jumping on board with the jokes. And I think somebody else was it Green, there was a team in Green Bay, the toilet papers. So
Yes, the toilet papers. I had seen that one.
I don't even know if
I wanted to be the first.
yeah.
I was up at 6:30 in the morning. I was still in bed, and I had the day off work, and I had my laptop on my computer on my bed, and I'm logging into all our social media, our website, trying to upload everything. And at 10 minutes after 7, I said, okay, no one's gone out yet. I'm going out now.
Yeah.
And I thought, in my head, I thought too early, it's too early. And I thought, no, I want to be the first. I don't want to look like, we're copying anybody, and put it out. And by 10 o'clock, my phone was dead.
Wow. You probably never, and I'm sure your social media pages were just the amount of messages and mails in there was
Ah,
insane.
it was like we looked at it the other day. We had 137,000 impressions on our account.
And what's the normal?
Well, the normal last year combined from a week before opening day to end of September when the championship was presented to the Barry Bay Cats, we did 2.9 million,
Okay.
and we did 136,000 in a week on just those posts. Like the 3 posts that we did 137,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure you got more followers, subscribers. I don't know. Did you sell any merchandise through your regular London store? Did you see it?
I don't have access to those,
Okay.
unfortunately, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did, of people just saying, "Hey, I want to get this before they get rid of all the majors gear."
Yeah. I mean, because, yeah, you're right. The old English L is a good look no matter what league you're in. So,
It's between the L and Labatt Park. We got to get you out this year. I always tell when I bring on people to help with our social media, our broadcast, all that kind of stuff. I take it for granted. You walk in and you can feel the history. It is there's nothing like it. It's like walking into Wrigley Field or
mhm.
Fenway Park. Yeah, it doesn't have the 100,000 people in it like those two stadiums do combined. It's got 5,000 people, but you just feel the history that's there.
Yeah. And what they've been playing baseball in that field since, is it 1866? Is that the correct date?
Um, you're putting me on the
1877?
spot here, and I can't remember.
It
I
goes,
can't remember off the top of my head. It goes past the majors, yes,
oh, yeah. Yeah. It goes
because
back that deep.
if I'm not mistaken, like we had a team. There was a franchise that had a organization here, the London Tecumsehs.
The Cumsies. Yeah.
They were here before us, so it. I just got it here, 1877. It was
Okay.
actually
77. Okay.
Tecumseh Park was what it was before Labatt Park.
I mean, I don't think any baseball team, maybe some town ball teams in Minnesota have been playing on their fields for a long time, but 1877,
We
that's
are
almost
the oldest.
150 years ago.
Yeah, we are the oldest active ball grounds in the world.
Hmm.
So there is nobody that comes close. And we actually kept that tradition alive during COVID. We had a one game fun game against the Guelph Royals to
Nice.
keep the active tradition or active ball grounds record going. And
Yeah.
we are actually in Guinness World Records,
Yeah.
even though some people say, oh well, they moved home plate, all that. We are the oldest active ball ground, not
Yeah. Ball ground.
ballpark.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Because yeah, you moved it around. You moved it around. It's still the same field. Uh, and I guess my last question, when I tell people about the IBL, what is it considered? Amateur, semi-pro? What is it classified as?
It's your strong semi-pro.
Yes. Okay.
Like we have players from the Dominican Republic. Um, we have a gentleman, Starling Joseph, this year. He played in the Texas Rangers organization. Um, we actually have a player going to the Ottawa Titans organization this year. He played with us last year. So it's a really good it's a really good brand of baseball. Is the best way to put it. You know, it's your guys that is picking up garbage, the garbage man. That works in the city. Like I said, Cleveland Brownlee. He owns a company here in London. They're called Better Bins, and they do construction garbage. And he runs that organization, or that business. But you've also got guys that are just out of college, still trying to make a name for themselves in baseball. and guys that go play in Dominican in the winter and come back to Canada in the summertime. So it's your best of both worlds when you look at like an amateur baseball and a semi-pro baseball. It's the best you can ask for.
Yeah, and then you get a minor league feel at your ballpark with the food,
Yep.
the entertainment, and of course, Cobra Chicken night. So that should be exciting.
It's going to be fun. We're trying to talk Welland into doing a Cobra chicken versus a lawn cock tonight.
Oh, they'll be up for that. They have to be.
So it's just a matter of setting the dates, and hopefully we can put a little pressure on them and say, hey, you know, let's see who's got the better alter
Yeah.
ego here.
Yeah, no, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun because I know those guys do some wacky things at their ballpark, and they've sort of upped the ante. And I'm hearing more about this. I'm hearing more about the league now with Chatham joined, I think, a couple years ago, and maybe there's more expansion, more fun times to be had in the IBL. And there's a lot of guys I know that travel to different baseball stadiums. So when they try to make that trek through Canada, Western Ontario up to Toronto, they have some options now. So
When
great
you're traveling up the 401, you know, you've got Windsor or you've got Detroit coming in. You come through Windsor, you've got us, you've got Kitchener, you've got
Hamilton.
Hamilton on the 402 there. They're about an hour from Toronto. You've got Barrie, who's 2 hours from Toronto. You could make a full week
Yeah.
out of seeing, good baseball in 4 hours
Yeah. No, you're
of each
absolutely right.
other because Barry's only about 3 hours from us, and same with Welland. And you could see some really good baseball throughout the week.
Yeah, and Stadium Journey does have a man in Kitchener, Dave Cotney, and he used to talk junk about the IBL, and I know when he went to Welland, somebody was giving him giving him the business because they heard the podcast. So if he happens to be there on Cobra Chicken night,
He's going
hiss
to
at
see a
him.
new. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have to get the flyover to make sure that it comes his way, and
yeah, yeah. Just start hissing at him.
maybe drop a present or two.
Yeah, but I think it's changing now because I think when he went to Welland and obviously he likes your ballpark, he says, yeah, there's some guys trying to make some changes. You like to see that, but you know,
There's some new ownership that's really making this league what it should be,
yeah,
and it's really turning. Like even since I joined in, and this is my eighth season,
yeah,
and I've seen such a change. It went from your average 45-year-old running social media to a team of 6 people per team running social media.
yeah. That's important
Just,
because
just just on that part, and it's blown itself out of the water.
yeah, and that's how you get to where you go. Here you are with this idea, this April Fool's prank, and it could turn into a pretty penny for you guys and the attention, and who knows what that can lead to in the future. So we'll be listening, we'll be watching, we'll be anticipating the date the Cobra Chickens release their hats and jerseys and make that day come. So where can we find you, Matt, online? If we don't need to
Uh,
ask,
yeah, no, I'm on social media. I'm on X, Twitter, whichever we want to call it at this point. I still call it Twitter.
me too.
Uh, I'm I'm on there. I have my own photography account. It's Hiscox Photos. I post a lot about the London Majors on there. A lot of the work that you see on the Majors account is there. And the Majors are all on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all under London Majors. And you can find all our updates no matter what we're talking. Cobra Chickens, new signings. We're still announcing signings, and we actually have a game in less than a month here that we'll be playing our first school day game in front of 5,000 students
Oh
from
boy.
across London.
That's always a fun time. I attend those games and they could be the best games, they could be the worst games, but
I think I'll be wearing these headphones, that's for sure.
yeah, no, sometimes you go there and the kids scream and yell. It's when they have those water balloons and super soakers is where you get a little tricky there.
We'll still be a little cold, like
Yeah,
it'll still be about
good.
the 10, 15 degrees. I've slid the note of no water, no cold.
No.
We actually had snow today, so if this snow keeps up, it might be a snow school day game.
Wow. Did you get a lot of snow or just
No, it was just enough that it was whiteout conditions driving, but nothing stuck to the ground. So
yeah, yeah, we had a tornado whip by my just north of me on Wednesday. We had to get into the basement for about a half hour. So we've had some Mother Nature playing tricks on us down here as well in Indiana.
So it sounds like Mother Nature's drunk all over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're supposed to get flurries here too in a couple days. It's going to be dipping down to about 23 degrees Fahrenheit, which is
You
below
know,
zero
that's
Celsius for all our Canadian viewers. So it's going to be
sorry, I
cold.
can't do the math, Canadians, right there. All I know is that's still cold.
Yeah, it's still cold. All right. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure talking with you. We'll get this up. Hopefully, we'll get this up tonight. So this is topical, and I want people to listen and hear it, and get more Cobra Chicken madness going, frenzy.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can, make some announcements soon. I know we've got our first player signing availability coming up in Easter, so we'll be announcing that soon. And hopefully after that, we've got some Cobra Chicken news.
All right, sounds good. We'll be waiting.
Perfect.
All right, that was Matt Hiscox. He is the media relations director, photographer, broadcast operations, and he is also the social media content manager for social media manager. I'm sorry, for the London Majors, aka the Forest City Cobra Chickens. Woo, that's a mouthful, but that was a great interview, and I wanted to get him on there because he did fool me for maybe 2 seconds on April 1st. And I quickly realized, oh, this is April Fools. And then I saw some other teams release, names. But let's be honest, in this day and age, it's not uncommon for a team to release uh rebrand. I remember when the Jacksonville Suns became the Jumbo Shrimp. I thought that was a joke. Till this day, I thought they were pulling a prank on us. I'm like, okay, it's not April Fool's, guys, but the jumbo shrimp? This is what you're going with? And then a part of me said, oh yeah, they are going with this. This is legit. And then another part of me said, they'll be calling themselves the Suns in the next 5 years. And here we are several years later, and they are still the jumbo shrimp. I don't think they're going back to the Suns. So that might be their April Fool's joke that they're going back to the Suns. So anyway, that was a great interview. And if you are anywhere near Labatt Park, check out the London Majors, the oldest baseball field in the world, 1877. 148 years. They'll be celebrating their 150th anniversary in 2 years. So you have the 100th anniversary this year, and then you got the 150th next year, and then you got the Cobra Chickens. Wow, a lot going on with that ball club this year. I don't think they realize what they stepped into. They put their foot into it, as my wife would say. So you can follow me on all your favorite social media websites. That's TikTok, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Blue Sky, and that's at Ballpark Hunter. And then you can also watch my videos on YouTube. My latest video is from The Hog. That is Hoagland Ballpark in Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas, home of the Jayhawks. Not the fanciest ballpark, but it was a lot of fun. And the way they're playing right now, go on there on a nice day. The place will be packed Fridays and Saturday nights. It'd be one of the best spots to be in Lawrence or that side of the campus. So until next time, my friends, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Tell your mother. Say hi to your mother for me. Thank you. Stay safe. Happy hunting. We'll see you next week.